Which house uses mods? This video will answer the question. I am going to build the same exact house twice in Minecraft, same shape, same layout, same block palette. The first version is built using only vanilla blocks, the second version uses Create Copycats Plus, a mod that lets blocks copy textures while giving you way more shapes. After that, we will put them side by side and break down the real pros and cons. And honestly, the difference surprised me. This might be the dream of all builders in Minecraft. I just found this cozy little house on Pinterest, which also has a light tower next to it, and I tried to set up the house as basic as it can be. No windows, no doors, only the roof and the walls. Let us start with the vanilla. My first aim is always the windows. One of my favorite things to decorate the windows with is flower beds, but I usually just use grasses because they match everything. Then I usually continue with the window frame, which in this case is going to look something like this, and from this point I can either go like this, or I can just have some fences, or it's possible to put just spruce trapdoors. But now what I think I'm gonna do is just using the fences, and now I can do it a bit asymmetric and maybe add some chains at the end. I feel like I want to add an arch to the window as well, but at the same time I can just add the spruce variant as well. The top window can be a bit easier, not too fancy, but it's just enough. Right here I'm going to add some spruce trapdoors and a flower pot. For the 1 block wide windows, I usually like to go with this. It's like a small flappy roof. And for this bigger side window, I am also going to add the spruce variants, add the small roof, and finish the window off like this. For the chimney, I'm going to do the banners a bit more matching. It looks a tiny bit better. And at this point, we can try to add some small details to not have this strict cubic look to the building. And in this case, it is also good to add some walls, so they give more depth. But in this case, the problem is that we don't have too much wall variants, so we can only use the ones that are already provided. For the interior, I wanted to do something really cozy and great. So let me just show you the interior of the building. Let's start at the hall. I put some fancy fashionable clothing pieces here. And on the other side, you have some coat hangers. Going further, you can see the kitchen area where we have a sink and a lot of drawers, so we can put a lot of things in it. You know what? Let me just add some windows here in the cutting board. It's so much better. There is a big bookshelf, and on the other side there is a kitchen island where you can actually eat with a small stool, and we have a cat's playing area. The problem is that the cat just went missing, so I have to find him. And as you can see, all around the house there are many shelves and many props on the shelves, some paintings. You might call it a bit minimalist, but I think you can find everything here. And let's see the possibilities with Copycats Plus. So as you can see, I have already replaced all the slabs with Copycat slabs because they are going to be the game changer part of the whole thing. But I have to mention that of course you could do a lot of different variety of roofs because you have slopes, you have slope layers which you can actually like stack, which is pretty amazing. You also have copycat layers which you can stack and copycat half layers. This gives you the most detailed possibilities in my opinion. But right now at the roof, I won't like to observe these things because these are the things that you can play around with. But now I want to show you how you can actually texture the roof using copycat blocks. I'm going to use this gradient following this pattern, adding each and every layers. And now of course you can play around with the slabs, which is going to be the best thing at all, because of course you will not have concrete powder slabs, but now you actually do have them, so this is basically infinite amount of possibilities. Another great thing that you might want to use is that you can actually use vertical slabs. So for a roof like this, it would be just a perfect addition to add vertical slabs as well. So I'm gonna add some of them just for the display purposes. You see, it looks all really good. Well, they turned out a bit more brownish than the previous one, but I think it just looks so much better. Now I of course wanted to add the blocks that I was missing from the previous one, the custom wall blocks. You can also add some copycat bites and bite panels to add some kind of like custom vegetation for the whole thing. Oh, and of course I almost forget to tell you that if you hold a block in your offhand and you're placing the copycat blocks with that, you can immediately place the blocks without doing any extra clicks. I think this could make everything look 100 times better. And instead of some wall blocks, I am going to add this vertical slice, which is actually something that you can stack again. And you can use multiple layers, so it will also create another layer of depth. With red glazed terracotta, you can do rose bushes as well. I think it looks fun. Of course, if you won't like the rain to get stuck on your roof, you can also make a pipe system that is actually helping you get rid of all the rain puddles from your roof. And if you want to be really creative with it, you can add copycat bites and copycat shafts. So when you will get some stained glass, you can make it look like it's actually draining the water. Oh, and of course in Vanilla Create you also have these brackets which can help you hold down the pipes. In case of the front door, I just want to add a very small porch, so something like this. I'm gonna add half panels as well, and that's pretty much it. I think it's really cute. It might be better with a slab. Yeah, that's just perfect. Right outside you can make a small well with vertical slices and some hay bale roof. And it's time to get ourselves suited with the windows and the interior. In case of windows, you have a big palette to work with because you can use all these stuff that I have in my hotbar, and you can even use more. So for example, one of my favorite window design is putting down these vertical slices, and the same thing on the other side. And just look at this whole thing. It looks like a proper window. And I also like to use copycat cogwheels. Of course, you want to add inner frames for the windows, and I also have a pretty great technique for that. So I'm going to use the copycat shaft, but I am going to place a cogwheel like this sideways, and I'm going to add copycat shaft sideways again, and just look at this. Let's just texture it. Beautiful. You can also try to add some diagonal parts and just some small touches. I'm adding copycat panel here and here, and we are good to go. If you want to add frames for the small windows, and why would you not want to do that, you can of course do that as well. This way I'm going to use the cogwheel again. Well, the only problem is that, as you can see, these two slices would fall on the same block, which is not possible in this mod. But in this case, I sometimes just cheat a little bit, and the way I'm doing it is have this slice a little bit in. What's more, you can add these too, so it will not be too odd. You basically have the same thing, and no one will notice the difference. In case of the interior, I want to add a baseboard at first, then I want to add the beds, and of course you can have some cool looking kitchen area. And the best thing about the copycat ladders is that you don't actually need a supporting block to have them placed anywhere. The slices are also pretty good to do some railings with them. And you can make nice looking chandeliers. Let's not forget about the couch. You can put a half panel on the sides so it will look like it has arms. And of course you can put half panels on top so you will have some headrest areas as well. You can also use copycat layers to make a carpet, for example. So in this case you can just place down the layers wherever you want to, like this. And then you can just click on them to actually stack them up a bit. You can just texture it. And in my opinion, another cool thing is that now you can make your bookshelves look way more rustic, old looking, and pretty detailed, like a proper bookshelf. Of course, I used a pretty similar way at the windows, but I think for this style and for this particular build, this is what we have to follow. You can even add multiple 3D shelves as well. That is just perfect. And for the windows, Don't hold back your creativity. You can do a lot of great things too. I just love it. And for sure, you can also make the inner window frames. That's lovely. I am going to add a little out-hanging part here. Problem is I cannot do it here. Well, we do what we can, right? But in this case, I can also demonstrate you how you can also use copycat bytes. So for example, I want to make it like this here, but I can't because of that. In case of copycat bytes, you can actually stack them however you want to. So as you can see, you can make any weird shapes. In this case, I'm just going to do it like so. Actually, I'm going to increase it here as well so it will match. Add some more layers to it so it's not going to look too odd. I think it's lovely. And of course, you can do painting frames as well. I mean, these are just small ideas that you can use in your word if you want to, or just to give you a brief idea on what you can do with these things. There you go. There you go. It's just waiting for the Mona Lisa. Of course, in cases like this, the wall blocks are totally substitutable with the vertical steps or the vertical slices, which can be increased even more. But as you can see, they are also giving a bit more rounded shape. And not to mention, you can use different blocks here as well. So it's not just the one that has the wall variant. Just again, you can add any kind of fruits to the trees. So now I'm using the copycat corner slice, which is like a small bit, but you can also layer it so it can be bigger. It's perfect to make different sizes of fruits, for example. And so now you have a lot of apples on this tree. So let's see what's the takeaway, the pros and the cons. Let's start with the vanilla. The pros are definitely that they are 100% compatible everywhere. No mods required, simple and beginner friendly. The cons might be that you have limited block shapes, harder to add fine details, and builds can feel chunky or repetitive if you are doing certain builds. For the copycats, the pros are that you have a massive shape variety, you have clean detailed builds, it keeps the vanilla look, and it's perfect for create style builds. The cons are, of course, it requires mods, there is a slight learning curve, and can be tempting to over detail. I think that copycats are really good if you want to detail. Vanilla is just way more challenging. It's harder to make details. You have to wrap your head around certain aspects of building. Just to show you some more ideas with copycats, here is my Amsterdam Central Station. As you can see, I used a lot of copycats blocks. So for example, the vertical slices and a lot of details like the cogwheels and the window frames. As you can see, the roofs, they look good, they look more detailed, they look more fluid, but at the same time, it is probably not as challenging as doing it without copycats. And I think the build that uses the most amount of copycats block is the Prague Cathedral. As you can see, the front window is almost just copycat blocks, and at the same time it looks really good from far off, but if you go closer, well, there are some small details as well. I use a lot of copycat blocks for decoration, for the side tower as well, for the front towers, and most importantly for the windows. I think the windows turned out pretty good with the copycat blocks. Oh, and don't forget about this building. So for the fire ladder, I used copycat slices. For the windows, I used copycat blocks as well. So don't get me wrong, I used a lot of copycat blocks. Since I'm here, I can also show you that I made cars with copycat blocks. So there are a lot of possibilities, really. And again, I have no problem with copycat blocks. What's more, I think it's really good because you have a bigger palette to build something nice. But for me, what turned out in the span of like half a year or 1 year is that vanilla is just so much harder, and that's quite the challenge. So my conclusion is, both are good. What I keep telling to everyone else, guys, Minecraft is a sandbox game, and it's a game. Play it however you want to. If you want to use copycat blocks, use them. If you think that copycat blocks are cheaty, then don't use them. Just let people play how they want to play. We're supposed to enjoy games, so let us enjoy every bit.